الله أكبر الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه. أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We as a minority living in the West, we are sadly affected by religious interpretation and fatawas that comes to us from three main countries: Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and to some extent Indian subcontinent, India and Pakistan. In this time of the year, we can trace this reflection of these fatawas that made and cooked and baked overseas, and it has reflection on us here in this time of the year when it comes to an issue like celebrating the Milad al-Nabi, for instance, the Mawlid. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm just talking about this particular example to show this reflection of the confusion of the fatawas. So voices of a Salafi movement believe that it is an act of bid'ah or shirk, and according to some ulama in Saudi Arabia, it can you are committing a grave sin in Islam if you celebrated the Mawlid of the Prophet. Others like Sufis or Brelwis, they also believe that it is good act and it is encouraged and it's a great act of Islam. This type of debate, as I said to you, is we are influenced by some other people living overseas, and we only echo of the whole sound that's being made up there. And I would like to take advantage of this particular example to show you the development of the fatawas in a country like Saudi Arabia, for example. And I noted that the fatawa in Saudi Arabia particularly, it goes through three stages. When a particular issue appears, new issue appears, it takes a very strict position. It says either it is bid'ah and it is forbidden, and to some extent it can represent an act of kufr. Then the same particular issue, after a short while, it can show some kind of flexibility. So it says that it is allowed under certain conditions. After that, the third and the final one, it is fine, do it, it's halal, it's permissible, or don't talk about it and find something else. And then it takes also the same process. So these are the three levels, sometimes only two levels. It's haram and then it's fine. So I'll tell you a particular example to clarify this. When photography first appeared, photography is a decent invention, recent invention. The hadith of the Prophet and the Quran doesn't definitely talk about it at all. But when it first appeared, a fatwa appeared in Saudi Arabia, says photography is forbidden and it is haram. And those who are involved in it will be burning in hell, and so on. Under the pressure of reality, the modern reality, they were forced to modify this attitude. So the people want passports, people want IDs. The king wants to put his photo on the banknotes. So they say it's fine, it's under the case of necessity, it's okay. The case of necessity, it's okay. So the final one, well, just ignore it. It's fine, it's okay. because TV itself is a kind of photography processed in a high speed. So they just ignored it and moved on to another issue. The same would apply to democracy, for instance. Democracy, they said it's act of the kuffar and it is forbidden and it's against Islam. As Saudi Arabia doesn't have any political life, so in Egypt, the Salafi movement, who used to exactly describe democracy as an act of kufr, they themselves modified themselves and set up a political party called a Noor party, and they stand up for election and they become part of the political life. Same issue, which has been described as an act of evil and haram and forbidden, it becomes an act of ibadah. Another example is about the rotation of the earth around the sun, which is a scientific fact. And I don't know why the people of religion step into this area of science in the first place. But two key renowned figures in Saudi Arabia, Shaykh bin Baz and Shaykh bin Uthaymeen, they said, for instance, that to say the earth rotates around the sun is act of kufr. It goes against the Quran. You can't say that. It's haram to say that. Most of the ulama of Saudi realized later that this shouldn't be the case, and they didn't talk about it. One of them recently tried to defend the Shaykh's point of view. And he was lecturing, I think, in a university in Dubai. And he said that he ridiculed the whole theory that the earth revolves around the sun. And he would like to defend the Shaykh point of view. And he said, hopelessly, definitely, he said that it's wrong to say the earth rotates around the sun and the moon. And he said that if you are in the airport of Sharqa, and if the aeroplane in the middle of the air stops, if you claim that the earth is rotating and we are traveling towards China, for instance, China will come to you while you are in the air. You don't need to travel. And if you are rotating, if the earth is rotating and the plane is going fast, it will not be able to reach China because China will move and the aeroplane will move around it. He was definitely ridiculed by all people in Saudi Arabia and outside in the social media, and here even it received some media coverage. But it shows us, shows us how things changed, how things developed. The same thing, the same particular issue of the Miladun Nabi. Some people feel very strong, don't do it, it's haram, it's forbidden, so on. Recently, a very senior figure in Saudi Arabia is called Shaykh Abdullah Al-Mutliq. Shaykh Abdullah Al-Mutliq is the religious advisor in the Royal Divan and the member of the board of the senior ulama in Saudi Arabia. He said, not everyone who celebrates the Milad is wrong. And he said there are some people who take advantage of this to educate the people about the Prophet's life and promote his message. And he considered this an act of ibadah, an act of worship. Now things change. This is a change. He may have some reservation about the way you celebrate the Mawlid, but he doesn't object in principle to the idea of celebrating the Mawlid in the first place. So this is the whole point I'd like to bring to your attention, that these development of ideas, of fatawas, ranging from something haram and forbidden, take you to hell, into the same particular issue, taking you to the Jannah. So the same issue, it can be forbidden, and the same issue after development, it can take you to the Jannah and pleases God. So what does this show us? What we can learn from it? What the message that I would like you and especially our young people to learn from it. I think you can learn plenty of things, but at least when you hear a fatwa, don't think that it is the word of God. It is not the word of God. It is the word of the man, of the human being who understood the word of God, who is the product of his own time. So don't think that you are the only one who knows the truth. It's a relative truth. It is not absolute truth. We live in a very highly changing world, keep on moving, demands new changes and attitude in our understanding, and we need to respond to it. If we chose to become stagnant rather than responding and revolving, we are going against the course of the law of life. Time, like rivers, move forward and doesn't move backward. تقبل الله منا ومنكم جزاكم الله خيرا.
الحمد لله